You're standing in line at a gas station, airport, or convenience store. You're hungry. You need something fast. You scan the shelves: chips, candy bars, energy drinks. And then, in its own separate section, you see them. Protein bars. Rows of them, wrapped in packaging covered with words like clean, fuel, power, performance. Images of athletes mid-workout. Nutritional claims in bold print. 20 grams of protein, low sugar, high fiber, gluten-free. They look like the responsible choice, the adult choice, the choice someone who cares about their health would make. So you grab one, scan it, and unwrap it in the parking lot. And as you chew, something feels off. It's sweet, very sweet. The texture's chewy, almost candy-like. And when you check the wrapper afterward, you notice something you didn't see before. The ingredient list is 20 items long. Protein bars are a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. They're marketed to athletes, busy professionals, dieters, gym-goers, and anyone trying to eat better on the go. The promise is simple: portable protein, convenience without compromise, nutrition in a wrapper. But if you talk to nutritionists, trainers, and researchers who've looked closely at what's actually inside these bars, you start hearing a different story. Not that protein bars are bad, necessarily, but that most of them aren't what people think they are. And that gap between what the packaging suggests and what the product delivers is worth understanding. Let's start with the protein itself. Most protein bars contain between 10 and 30 grams of protein per bar. The source varies. Some use whey protein isolate, a dairy-derived protein that's rapidly absorbed and contains all 9 essential amino acids. Some use soy protein isolate, which is plant-based and nearly as complete. Some use pea protein, rice protein, or a blend. From a protein quality standpoint, whey is generally considered the gold standard for muscle protein synthesis. It's rich in leucine, the amino acid that signals muscle cells to start building. Studies have shown that 20 to 30 grams of whey protein consumed post-workout maximizes muscle recovery and growth. So if a protein bar contains 20 grams of whey protein isolate, you'd expect it to function like a post-workout shake in solid form. And in some cases, it does. But here's where things get complicated. Protein doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's delivered inside a bar, a matrix of other ingredients designed to hold the protein together, give it texture, make it taste good, and keep it shelf-stable for months. That matrix matters a lot. To make a protein bar palatable, soft, chewy, sweet enough to eat willingly, manufacturers typically add sugars, sugar alcohols, syrups, fats, emulsifiers, and flavorings. Some bars contain dates, honey, or agave as natural sweeteners. Others contain maltitol, erythritol, or sucralose as low-calorie alternatives. The result is a product that might contain 20 grams of protein, but also 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates, 10 to 15 grams of fat, and 200 to 300 calories. For context, a Snickers bar contains roughly 250 calories, 27 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of protein. Some protein bars aren't far off. Here's a test you can do right now if you have a protein bar nearby. Read the ingredient list, not the nutrition facts, the ingredients. If sugar, corn syrup, or any form of syrup appears in the first 5 ingredients, you're eating a candy bar with added protein. If sugar alcohols like maltitol or sorbitol appear prominently, you're eating a bar designed to have a low sugar count on the label while still tasting sweet. But those sugar alcohols can cause digestive distress in many people: bloating, gas, cramping. The infamous sugar alcohol effect. If the list contains 15 or more ingredients, including words you can't pronounce, soy lecithin, carrageenan, sucralose, natural and artificial flavors, you're eating a highly processed food engineered in a lab, not a whole food snack. None of this makes the bar dangerous, but it does make it different from what the marketing implies. The packaging shows whole foods, nuts, oats, berries. The ingredient list tells a different story. Let's talk about satiety. because this is where protein bars often fail in ways people don't expect. Protein is satiating. We know this. High-protein meals suppress hunger more effectively than high-carb or high-fat meals. That's why Greek yogurt, chicken breast, and eggs are staples in weight management diets. But satiety isn't just about macros. It's also about texture, volume, digestion speed, and the presence of fiber. A protein bar is dense. It's compressed. You can eat one in 30 seconds without chewing much. Compare that to eating a chicken breast, or a bowl of Greek yogurt with berries, or scrambled eggs with vegetables. Those foods take time to eat. They require chewing. They fill your stomach with volume. The act of chewing and the physical expansion of food in the stomach both send satiety signals to the brain. A protein bar bypasses much of that. Research has shown that people who eat solid, whole foods report feeling fuller and eat less overall compared to people consuming the same calories in processed bar form. A study published in Appetite found that participants who ate whole food snacks felt significantly more satisfied and consumed fewer calories at their next meal compared to those who ate processed bars with equivalent macronutrient profiles. The takeaway? 20 grams of protein in a bar doesn't produce the same satiety as 20 grams of protein from real food. Now, the sugar situation. Many protein bars contain hidden sugars under names that don't immediately register as sugar. Agave nectar, brown rice syrup, tapioca syrup, cane juice, honey. These are all sugars. They all spike blood glucose. They all trigger insulin release. The difference between a protein bar sweetened with dates and one sweetened with high fructose corn syrup is real. Dates provide fiber, vitamins, and slower digestion. But both still deliver sugar to your bloodstream. Some bars use sugar alcohols to keep the sugar line low on the nutrition label while maintaining sweetness. Sugar alcohols are carbohydrates that aren't fully absorbed by the body, so they have fewer calories and a smaller impact on blood sugar than regular sugar. But they're not free, and for many people, they cause gastrointestinal distress. Maltitol, in particular, has a laxative effect if consumed in amounts over 10 to 15 grams. Some protein bars contain 20 grams. The result is that people eat what they think is a low-sugar, high-protein snack, and an hour later, they're dealing with cramping and urgent bathroom trips. The marketing says low sugar. The body says otherwise. Here's a question almost nobody asks. Do you actually need a protein bar? For most people, in most situations, the answer is no. If you're eating regular meals with adequate protein, chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, Greek yogurt, legumes, you're likely hitting your daily protein target without supplementation. The average sedentary adult needs about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Athletes and people doing resistance training need more, around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. For a 70-kilogram person, about 154 pounds, that's 56 grams per day for maintenance, or 112 to 154 grams for muscle building. 3 meals with 20 to 30 grams of protein each, plus a snack or two, easily hits that range. Protein bars aren't necessary for most people. They're convenient. That's their primary value. But convenience has trade-offs. Processing, added sugars, cost, digestive issues, and the psychological effect of treating a processed bar as equivalent to real food. There are exceptions, situations where protein bars genuinely make sense. If you're traveling and don't have access to real food for hours, if you're hiking or backpacking and need lightweight, calorie-dense nutrition, if you've just finished a hard training session and need fast-digesting protein to kickstart recovery, and you can't get to a meal within the next hour. In those scenarios, a well-chosen protein bar is a useful tool. But well-chosen is doing a lot of work in that sentence. A good protein bar, if such a thing exists, would have a short ingredient list. Ideally, fewer than 10 ingredients, most of which you recognize. The protein source should be listed first or second. Sugar and syrups should be absent or minimal. Fat should come from nuts or seeds, not hydrogenated oils. And fiber should be present in meaningful amounts, at least 3 to 5 grams per bar. Bars that meet those criteria exist. They're usually more expensive, they're often less sweet, and they're less common on gas station shelves. But they're closer to real food. Let's talk about what protein does in the body, because understanding this changes how you think about bars. When you eat protein, it's broken down into amino acids during digestion. Those amino acids enter the bloodstream and are used for countless functions, building and repairing muscle tissue, producing enzymes and hormones, supporting immune function, maintaining skin and hair. Your body can't store protein the way it stores fat or glycogen. If you eat more protein than your body needs at a given moment, the excess amino acids are converted into glucose or fat or excreted. This is why protein timing matters for athletes.
Consuming protein shortly after resistance training, when muscle protein synthesis is elevated, maximizes the body's ability to use those amino acids for repair and growth. But for the average person who's not training intensely, protein timing is far less critical. What matters more is total daily intake spread across meals. A protein bar eaten at 3 p.m. because you're hungry and need something quick isn't optimizing muscle protein synthesis. It's just keeping you from being hungry. And for that purpose, a handful of almonds, a piece of string cheese, or a hard-boiled egg would do the same thing with fewer ingredients and less processing. Here's something almost no one considers: the environmental cost. Protein bars are individually wrapped in plastic and foil. They're shipped in cardboard boxes, often across thousands of miles. The protein isolates inside them are produced through industrial processes that require significant energy and water. Compare that to eating an apple and a handful of nuts, or a banana with peanut butter, or leftovers from last night's dinner. The convenience of a protein bar comes at a cost, not just to your wallet, but to the system that produces it. This isn't a moral judgment, it's just context. Convenience is valuable, but it's worth knowing what you're trading for it. Now the psychological dimension. Protein bars occupy a strange place in food culture. They're positioned as health foods, but they taste like treats. They're eaten as snacks, but they're marketed as fuel. They're labeled with performance imagery, but most people eating them aren't athletes. This creates a cognitive dissonance. People consume them thinking they're making a healthy choice, when in many cases they're eating a candy bar with protein added. The danger isn't the bar itself, it's the permission it grants. I ate a protein bar, so I'm being good. That thought can lead to other, less mindful choices later. Because the bar is framed as virtuous, it creates a sense of having earned indulgence elsewhere. Research in behavioral psychology has shown that people who consume health foods often compensate by eating more overall. They give themselves license to indulge because they feel they've already made a healthy choice. This is called the health halo effect, and protein bars benefit from it enormously. The bar might have 300 calories and 20 grams of sugar, but because it says protein on the wrapper, people treat it differently than they would a cookie with the same nutritional profile. So, what's the alternative? If you genuinely need portable protein, if you're in a situation where real food isn't available, then choose carefully. Look for bars with minimal ingredients. Prioritize whole food ingredients like nuts, seeds, dates, and oats. Avoid bars where sugar or syrups are in the top 3 ingredients. Check the fiber content. Higher is better. And be honest about whether you're eating it because you need protein or because it tastes good and feels like a treat. If you're eating it as a treat, that's fine. Just call it what it is. But if you're eating it thinking it's equivalent to a meal or that it's genuinely supporting your health and fitness goals, you might want to reconsider. Most of the time, real food is the better choice. A piece of grilled chicken, a hard-boiled egg, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a handful of almonds. These foods provide protein without the processing, without the hidden sugars, and without the 20 ingredient lists. They take more effort, they require preparation, or at least access to a refrigerator, but they work better. There's a broader pattern here, one that goes beyond protein bars. The modern food landscape is filled with products that promise to solve problems we didn't know we had. Portable protein, convenient nutrition, healthy snacking on the go. But in solving those problems, these products create new ones. Highly processed foods, hidden sugars, misleading marketing, overconsumption disguised as health. Protein bars aren't inherently bad. They're tools, and like any tool, they can be used well or poorly. The issue is that most people don't realize they're using them poorly. They think they're making a smart choice when they grab that bar instead of the candy. And in some cases, they are. A bar with 20 grams of protein is better than a Snickers if you're genuinely hungry and need sustenance. But in many cases, they'd be better off with real food. Or with nothing if they're snacking out of boredom rather than hunger. Here's what changed for me when I started looking at protein bars this way. I stopped seeing them as health foods. I started seeing them as processed snacks with added protein. That shift in framing made all the difference. Now, when I'm deciding whether to buy one, I ask, am I genuinely in a situation where I need this? Or am I just choosing convenience over quality? Sometimes the answer is yes, I need it. I'm traveling. I've just finished a long workout. I won't have access to food for several hours. More often, the answer is no. I'm just hungry and don't feel like preparing something. In those moments, I make a different choice. Something real. Something that doesn't come in a wrapper. And I feel better for it. Not in a self-righteous way, just in a clear, honest way. I know what I'm eating and why. The protein bar in your gym bag or desk drawer isn't going to ruin your health, but it's also not the solution it's marketed as. It's a convenience product, a processed snack, an engineered food designed to taste good, last months on a shelf, and convince you it's something more than what it is. You can eat them, you can even enjoy them, but you should do it with your eyes open. Read the label, know what's inside, and ask yourself, is this actually helping me, or is it just making me feel like it is? That difference matters.